Okay, hello traders. Welcome to another week. We have the DAX has just hit 24,000 on the dot for the futures index. I'm going to hit sell right now. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now I'm going to explain why shortly. Big round number. We haven't seen it for a little bit. I'll just have a quick look how far away that has been. But a few weeks. We've rejected off it a couple of times. A couple of weeks ago on that weekly chart there. We broke through it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 weeks ago. It actually formed, I guess, a support point on this candle here. So about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, it formed a support. Now we're struggling to break up through that. We're about 13 or 12 now minutes till the open. We've hit 34 contracts on the ask side, indicating, so we've come up thin volume-ish. We've tapped that level, 34 compared to a lot of thin volume down here. Potential aggressive selling coming in, but this ask order seems to be a sell limit. Additionally, we're up quite high. Where are we? These are the yearly levels. So we've bounced off that Bollinger Band midline more than anything else. On the weekly chart, I'll just go to the 5-minute. Now we had a spike up above the R2, took out any weak hands just above that 24,000 mark on the futures. And hopefully, what I'm hoping anyway, is the R2 will hold and we will perhaps head down to this extreme gap. So we've drifted up above last week's, or on Friday's previous high. I'll just check. So Monday the 29th. Now, we've got a few things at play here. We're getting close to the end of the month. So tomorrow is actually the end of the month. So investors or traders at funds and things like that may have been in a position where they're looking to close their positions and leave it at that. So we'll have a quick look. The market has gone up for the last, I guess, 3 weeks in essence. So anyone that's traded throughout this month and bought, they're actually very likely to be at least break even if they were buying. So it's likely that traders will sell off, or fund managers, I should say, will sell off their positions. Just give me 1 sec, guys. So they will sell off their positions to close in any profits for their commissions and obviously close their books off, that kind of thing. But they still have a day left before they do that. So let's have a look at what's happened recently. Yeah, we're sitting, I guess, quite high comparatively to the rest of the month. Now, if we do break above this 24,000, it's likely we're just going to blindly go up. In which case, I'm not sure what's going on unless we reject off the R3 right up here. So if we reject off that level, then I might anticipate some sort of a reaction up here. But we've just tapped this 24,000. If this doesn't hold, I'm not sure exactly what the market's doing, but what I'm hoping at the moment is that we do head down towards the previous day's high, which is some distance away. So I've got my FTMO, I've sold 1 contract. I was just trying to get the right pricing here. So I'm going to go to 23,764, say. 23,764, 23,764, a little bit higher than what I put. All right. So on 1 contract, I'd be looking to make about $120. So I've only got 1 contract in. I've lost a little bit of money last week I guess getting back in after the trading session was kind of done and dusted, that opening session for London, and unfortunately it didn't work out. So I'm, I guess, $450 odd behind the 8 ball, behind that break-even point at the moment. And what I'm hoping for is basically the opportunity to get in with more positions. So I'm really hoping to get some additional volume into the market, which would mean a push up higher. If we don't push up higher, we start to see a lot of selling off. I might be tempted to sell some additional contracts, but ideally I'd probably like it to pull back a little bit, tap this level here, or even tap the 24,000 again. Let's say we get another big ask side order during the market hours, so we've got another 8 minutes before that happens anyway, so there's plenty of time before we hit that position. And what I'll be looking for is basically a big rejection, a big sell-off in reflection of that 24,000. We are above the extreme gap here and the close gap, very close together, so I would imagine that these will probably fill today, I'm hoping anyway. And we've got this kind of structure up here. So we've got the R2, we've got the breakout long and the R1. We're above those. We're kind of rejecting off the R2 in pre-market. Now this is one of those cases where I am already in the market. And I'll just have a look at the other time frames. So monthly, very little action. But it does look like perhaps we are turning down. You know, there's no big high wick, and there's more strength to the downside based on, I guess, that candle there. On the weekly, we've kind of rejected off this Bollinger Band midline, which is good to note. You know, if we do see a really good rejection off a certain indicator on a large time frame, it means it probably has some relevance and people are probably watching it. Sometimes it's the bigger players and they're moving the market effectively. They have more control than the retail traders do. So what else do we have? So yeah, nothing too much more on the weekly. Hopefully we kind of respect this high over here on this candle, so about 4 candles ago, and then also a rejection. You know, this price point here may be relevant in that we'll kind of reject off that low. So, you know, we're finding highs and lows. We'll be hopefully rejecting off that level, particularly because it is a big round number, 24,000. We'll go down to the daily. On the daily, we are breaching now that midline. So we've kind of really gapped up here today. We've touched that Bollinger Band midline. Let's see what's happened in terms of reactions previously. Look, that kind of was a bit of a reaction, but we haven't seen anything too clear in relation to the midline there. It's not something that I would really say, you know, this is going to reject. We had a rejection there back in June 2025, so that's good to note. Really strong down day after that push into that Bollinger Band midline. Other than that, not too much in the way of midline Bollinger Band reactions. So jump down to the H4. Now on the H4 we are above the top Bollinger Band line, which is a good indication for us that we are outside the standard deviation of trading in terms of price. So that on its own can indicate that we may have a bit of a rejection downwards. We saw that on Friday, or was that Friday? Let's have a look. So 26th, we kind of tapped the upper Bollinger Band and came right back down for about 80 odd points. Now that might have even been sort of towards the end of the session as well. So that's good to know. Rejection here, rejection-ish. We didn't quite get up there, but yeah, very, very bearish after this high price got kind of close to the Bollinger Band. So very good to note that there are some excellent rejection. Look at that wick. So on a 4-hour chart, massive rejection, and then the market just powered down after that point. So looking at like 300 points off that massive wick there. Let's see if we get that kind of reaction again. And then if you go all the way back to August, you can see we had a spike. It did reject down, but then we powered up much higher until finally had a proper rejection off the R2, which is what we've got today, should I note. So we're outside the Bollinger Band, not as much as this, and we haven't been outside of it for as long as this setup, but we have connected with that R2 price. And then what happened after that? The market had a very good rejection, so about 300 odd points. Well, hang on. Let's have a closer look. So we're up here, R2, current price even, so 600 points. Massive move. See if I can get a proper reading. So looking at close to 1,000, well, yeah, could have got 1,000 points, point to point, 1,000 points off that rejection. So outside the Bollinger Band, and the R2 was rejected. Don't know whether that was in pre-market or what the case is, but got a very similar setup here. So we've had a couple of candles outside of that Bollinger Band. Excuse me 1 second. We've come up, hit the R2. Also, we've got a big round number. So I'm really hopeful that this position, it's already moving for me, but I'm hopeful in the market open time, we will see a really strong rejection off this R2, particularly because we are outside on the 4-hour Bollinger Band. We'll have a look at the 1 hour. A bit less quality there on the 1 hour, so we're still within the Bollinger Bands or standard deviation of trading. So nothing really to see there unless we spike up higher. On the M30, kind of tapped it in the pre-market. We've got 1 minute till open, guys, so just be aware. Get your platforms ready. Very similar on the 15-minute, and we'll sit on the 5. So effectively, the 4-hour chart, I think, will be really critical to watch during this session. The market is already moving in our favor at this point, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll get another opportunity to get in at the market open in about 20 seconds. I'm going to have my finger on the trigger. I do want to get in a little bit more volume to the short side or to the downside on the German 40 here on my FTMO 10K challenge, and we'll just see how it plays out. 5 seconds till open, guys. Just going to bring my stops to break even on that trade. We'll see if we get a good proper rejection. Okay. Look, I've hit the short button, but that impulsive move up may not be finished yet, so I'll just bring my stops to break even just for safety. There might be a bit of volatility today, so just got to be ready for that. So I've got, where are we going? So it was 767. 760 odd, yep. All right, so that's where I've put my target. I've actually got 4 contracts in now. My original order got stopped out. If we can break this level, that would be great. I'll just zoom in on the volume here. Hopefully we can just keep pushing through. Okay. Hopefully, look, there's a bit of order flow coming here. That isn't ideal. That's not what I want. I'm hoping we can just pull through that and just ignore the trading activity. That could be, traders needing to trade that point. But there's every chance that the market might reject off this breakout long. I'm hoping it will just push straight on through. Sitting at about 170 odd profit right now, 160. And just hoping the market can get all the way down to my target at $400 odd. That will bring me back to break even. Should it go all the way down, I've got my stops to break even on this trade. So is anybody else in the market, or you're watching perhaps another market at all? I'm just going to go and check the other markets now. So the UK, excellent rejection, I guess, or a bit of a spike up and then a push down. We are rejecting off this R1, so hopefully we can get through that level on the FTSE as well, indicating that perhaps all the markets will start to fall down towards the previous day's high. We'll see if the US has anything. Very similar activity here on the US. We're tapping that breakout long, so there's a bit of activity here, which I'm hoping won't hold, but it looks like it's just going to perhaps continue up, and we're not going to get a massive trade here. So I'm in for 4 lots. Kind of, when we came up, tapped this level again, so the R2. My stops to break even got caught. Let's see what we got. $2.70 profit on that one, so that's all right. So that got stopped out, and then I entered again for 4 contracts when I saw a bit of rejection coming in. Now, the market is playing around at this level, but it looks like aggressive selling, I'm hoping, around this point. On the flip side, though, as per Trader Dale's book, it could be buy limits in the market. I'm thinking that's less so the case, and the market is confirming that right now by pushing straight on through all of that activity there. Just had to be patient. Now, if I'm hoping we don't get a rejection off this level here as well, where previous pricing, I guess, started to turn around on the R1. So on the UK, we're kind of rejecting off that R1 now. Now, any viewers in the comments, just let me know, what do you think I should do with this position? Should I get out here, or should I hold all the way till the previous day's high? I have seen the market pull all the way back from this kind of activity here several times, but at the same time, this is an excellent position to be in the market to target a quite a decent trade. There's no real reason other than the levels themselves just yet to actually close out this position. Now, I'm hoping that's aggressive selling coming in, forcing that market a little bit lower. If we can break this R1, I'll be a very happy camper. So pretty high impact start to the trading session. Anybody that, I guess, had decent volume to play with would have been very happy. It was very clear that the market was likely to go down on a number of factors, particularly the 4-hour as well. Now I'm not sure if we're going to go too much further, so I'll be watching the market quite closely, looking for further selling or a massive buyer coming in to change the direction of the market. I'm hoping that we can continue in the same direction, break through this R1 and this low pricing structure here, and take us all the way down to this previous day's high. If that is the case, I'll be looking at 424 USD, sitting at 247 odd USD right now, which brings me to 9,800 balance on my FTMO. So I'll be still $200 down if I closed out right now, as opposed to sort of 450 odd. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you think I should jump out here based on what I'm showing you. I feel like this is more aggressive selling. If I was looking to buy, I wouldn't be ready to hit the trigger. But there is a level here. We've rejected off this previously. I'm going to try and be patient and see if we can break on through this level. That's what I'd like to see. Very thin volume, pushing lower. If I see a big ask order come in, or even a limit order on the bid side, I'll be tempted to close this position manually because I'm very close to my target now. Just watching to see what goes on. I've actually moved my target a little bit lower. That's 9 contracts. Is that enough? Look, I don't think it is enough. I don't think so. Look, we could turn around off that. Might see a bit of a rejection. We might even come all the way back up, but I'm going to try and hold it. I've moved my stop, my break-even stop into close to $200 worth of profit. So if it does come back, I'm at least locking in about 190, because I don't want to ride it all the way back up after such a good trade. So I'm happy to, look, I'm going to close that there. Just because we've got a bit more build up with volume. So I'm out of the position now for 4 contracts short. We've got a bit of build up here as well. And I guess it's kind of rejecting. I didn't want to sit and ride this all the way back up when I had some good profit on the table, and I'd already taken a bit of a hit last week. So I didn't really want to, sit and ride that out and, leave money on the table when I'm already kind of in the red a little bit. Now I've only got $90 to make to get to break even on this account and continue about my way to get to that 11,000 target. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with that session. What did we make? So 364 USD. $2 of that was the initial sell, which stopped at pretty much break even. And then I sold another 4 contracts around the open on that spike up for 362 USD, which is quite a good trade for the account size. Quite a big recovery for the start of the week as well. And we're only $90 away from break even after some poor decisions last week, I would say. So had some good trades during the live sessions, and then followed by probably some silly decisions and trying to make more money than what the market had to offer based on my decisions. So quite happy with that. Look, I'm probably not going to watch it any further from this point. Basically, that previous day's high might get hit, but also there is a chance now that the market could come all the way back up to this R2, and I don't really want to play around once I've made my money for today. That was the obvious setup, and that'll do me for the session. So let me know any comments, guys. If you're watching, just let me know if you've got any questions or anything like that. Your likes do really help me keep coming back and keep providing, I guess, my insight and my experience trying to pass these FTMO challenges and Apex Trader funding challenges. We've got bid orders coming in and the market's pushing up. I think perhaps we're going to get a bit of a rejection here. Just interested to see what this first, what this 10-minute candle does. So anyway, great start to the trading session. Very happy with the start of the week. And if we can have, I guess, 4 more days like that, we will be, I will have passed my first 10K FTMO. And what I'm going to do, or what I'm aiming to do, is basically scale into a 25K challenge after the first payout, get the refund. Okay, so I'm stoked that I got out because we are kind of rejecting off that low. Overshot the R1. That could be a bit of a sell there potentially. People saying, right, that's a bit of a retracement, and then we're going to go and target that previous day's high. But I'm not sure. I'm not 100% convinced that that is a sell order. That could be aggressive buying for all I know. As I said, quite happy with the day's session. And whatever else happens, I'd rather just come back tomorrow with a clean slate, a new setup, and pivot point layout to have a look at and I guess understand what the next move is. So a bit of a recap, guys. At the pre-market, we tapped the 24,000 big round number for 34 contracts amidst quite a lot of thin volume up above and below. That was an indication to me that the market wanted to sell just off the order flow alone. Additionally, we tapped the R2. We were outside the Bollinger Band upper band on the 4 hour. We'll see if that will open up for me. Seems to be a little bit stuck. Bear with me. So we can see on the 4 hour, that's the upper band there. We spiked up into the R2 in pre-market, and now basically the market has fallen away. So textbook trading today, very happy with that. And that's the kind of activity that we want to stay in the market for, stay active, and be ready for that kind of situation to occur. So it's a reminder that the market does set up really nicely from time to time, and you can read it like a textbook, put your order in, and hope that it does go the right way. In this case, it did. So very happy with that. And it's those days where there's not really much setting up. It's often just best to watch, understand what's going on, see if anything does change, or there's more of a picture painted through the order flow and pivot points. But otherwise, often it's better just to sit out and wait for setups like this and really take advantage of all of the aligning factors. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new day of trading. Have a good one.